So, over the weekend, I got to spend some time with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and he allowed me to pick his brain on pretty much anything fight related. And then after that, he taught me the correct way to throw his sidekick. But before we get to all that, let's talk about this gym, guys. When you first walk in, you see a fairly decent sized merch area with all kinds of upstate karate merch in there. There's a small kitchen area, and then on the other side, you see a bunch of fights that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has been a part of. And then you walk through the door, and that's where the magic happened. Let me tell you guys, man, this place is absolutely stunning. But I wasn't there to just check out the gym. The main reason I was there was because I wanted to train with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Most importantly, I wanted to pick his brain and ask him questions that I've always wanted to ask him. And let's just dive into that. What is your preferred range to fight in? So, kicking range, boxing range, completely out of range?
Completely out of range for me. Okay. Because, I mean, that's kind of like, especially as karate guys, our strongest attribute when it comes to the fight game is our distance management. Okay. I can fight close range, but especially in kickboxing, I didn't mind being there because I knew guys didn't have to grab a hold of me, right? Okay. So, I mean, I can fight at short range, kickboxing range, but I prefer, especially in MMA, to have that long range because most guys, whenever I'm fighting, I keep this distance. When normally, this is pretty much the preferred distance for any fighter, boxing range and kickboxing. I'm close enough to kick you, okay, and I'm close enough to put my hands on you. Okay. But I fight here, because okay, what happens is, guys, everybody has like an invisible security boundary around you, right? And anytime I step in, and everybody, it varies. Sometimes some people's is bigger, some people's is smaller. Okay. But if I get close to that security boundary, you start to get defensive. Okay. You start bringing your hands up, you start lowering your stance, ready to start throwing hands. But if I stay out of that, pretty far away, people get comfortable. Oh. So they start dropping their hands down. They start, okay, he's just relaxing, but they don't know I can close this gap very fast. So I get that relaxed, I can feel that relaxed sensation from here, and then I can close the gap fairly quickly. Okay. So I like the long range, but then you have guys that are like really aggressive, like Holland. He didn't allow me to kind of keep that long range, so I fought mostly in kickboxing range in that fight. Vicente Luque, that was more of a boxing range for me and him. Okay. So I can fight at that. I prefer the long range though.
So in terms of when you're fighting, is there anything specific you do to tell yourself that you're now at the perfect range, right? Like in boxing, maybe they say like shoulder length. Is there something you do when you're moving around that tells you, all right, now I'm in the perfect range?
To strike or to close?
Where you can hit them, but they can't hit you.
Sweet. So it varies with different fighters, obviously. Some 170s are here. Kevin Holland was here. He was like 6'4". So I do a lot of feeling out, especially when it comes to my movement. So how I feel out is whenever I move in front of you, I'll do this little in and out movement here, right? When I move in, if my opponent moves back, they're aware of what I'm trying to do. I see. Right? Because when I move in, look how close I am, okay, right? So see how close I am? Okay. Right? But if the guy stands there and they allow me to do this, then I've got you. Because instead of hitting from here, when I move back and forth, I move forward, actually explode when I move in. So I'm in and out, in and out. And most people, when they see me fight, they see the out part. They see me being farther out. But that little half a step in, that little half a second close, they don't really read that as a threat. They just see me moving. So I'll go in and out, in, boom, and then I'll close the gap.
So you're never actually darting in from here. You go boom, and then you go.
Then I go. Watch MVP. MVP does the same thing. If you watch the Kevin Holland fight, he'll sit and do this, or he'll go like this. He'll move that front foot, and then he goes.
Okay.
So it's a test, really. Kind of like, for example, if you watch the Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill fight, okay, there was a lot of this here. Hold your hand out. There was a lot of this going on, right? Well, if you have your hands up, fighting stance for me, if you have your hands up, if you let me touch your front hand, even if you let me touch your front hand, I know I can punch you in the face and there's nothing you're gonna do about it.
Really?
If I do this and you move your hand out of the way, yeah, that tells me that you're so aware of what I'm doing, it's gonna be very difficult. Any little movement that I make, you're gonna adjust to it, okay? So if we're here, right? Guys will do that to me. So you touch my hand, I'm countering. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna play this game with you.
I see.
So it's subconsciously, a lot of people don't recognize it, but
Joe's would do that all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
He'll get you to reach out, boom, then he'll hit you, you know? But for me, I use it for a distance thing. So if I move in, as I'm moving, if I move in and you don't adjust to me moving in, I know it's safe to hit you.
Okay.
I know it's safe for me to blitz you or to try to make contact with you.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and for me, the goal is not to let that happen. If we're in a fighting stance here, if you step forward, I keep this distance.
Okay.
So for guys who aren't at that elite level, move in, and then I start to move back, you've already hit me.
Gotcha.
If I wait for you to move in, for even just an inch, you can still smoke me.
Okay.
So I have to be so in tune with your movement. I've got to move, right? I've got to move.
Okay.
Because I only want you to move in when I want you to move in.
Gotcha.
And how do I do that? By like dropping my hands down and sticking my head out there.
So that
all right, go ahead.
hit you.
And then I try to counter you.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So you really do present this target to your opponent.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So a good example of that, my very first fight in the UFC, I fought a guy named Dan Stidgen. That's when I kicked the dude in the head. So I knew every time he would throw a jab, his jab would do this. It would drop. It would drop. So what I did was I just kind of came up and I dropped my hands like so. He threw the jab because he didn't see any protection here. He threw the jab, I countered him, right? I knew that his hand was dropping, and this was my distraction, and I left it out there. I didn't bring it back. I leave it out there for a half a second while my leg is coming up. So you don't see it.
Yeah.
All you see is my fist here. You don't see the leg, and then I put him to sleep. So I just kind of went, drop my hands, okay, try to jab me, and I come over top and throw the head kick.
Which is gonna lead me to another question I have. I notice when you're fighting, when you're orthodox, you're like here. But then when you go southpaw, you're really bladed.
Yeah.
Why the difference?
I'm a better side kicker with my right foot in front.
Okay.
I'm a better side kicker here. So even though I like to work both sides, there are things that I do better left side forward. I do certain things better when I'm right side forward.
Okay.
So Joe Rogan's picked it up. You picked it up. So when I'm bladed, I'm a right-legged kicker. Even though I kick very well with my left, there's certain kicks that I do better this leg, but my most powerful weapon this side is going to be my side kick, right? So I'll stand bladed. And when I stand bladed, guys, especially when they have their right side forward, they try to take me out by kicking me in the leg.
Yeah.
And it's difficult, especially from a bladed stance. I can't bring my body all the way back around to check the kick, right? So I have certain things that I do, like if you throw the kick, I'll bring it up. So I'll bring it up with the kick.
Gotcha.
Or a hook kick, you know?
This is how you were sitting down Masvidal, because he would come in and then and he's on one leg when you side kick him, so he's falling to the ground.
Right. And one thing I did there too was he kind of stands here like this, right? Kind of more of a Muay Thai, very light on the front leg.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of little up and down, little movements, right? And I try to lure them towards me, kind of like a wave. You know, waves crash and they come back, right? And over time, it pulls the sand back into the ocean, right? So I start going in, and what that does, even though I don't throw anything, it's still frustrating. In his head, I'm beating him because I'm moving more than he is. So he tries to rush. So what I did was I go here, he tried to rush, I backed up, lured him in even more, and then I side kicked him, so he kind of ran into it and fell. So I do a lot of movement to try to draw guys in. Another thing I do too is I like to turn my back to people.
Explain that.
Okay, so if I throw a hook or even if I throw a kick, I'll slow the kick down to where you see this, and just like a cat. You ever see a cat like, if you look at a cat, they're stalking you, they don't move. But as soon as you turn your back, they move, you turn back, they've gotten closer.
Right.
They only move when well, we do the same thing. And so what I'll do is I'll throw a kick and I'll just kind of back up a little bit. If you don't bite, I'll keep doing it until you bite.
Okay.
I'll just like, oh. Yeah, see, I'm kind of turning my back and I'll just move. I'll throw a little bit of stuff, but I'll just kind of.
I'm gonna hit you now.
Yeah, now you come at me. And that's when I stick you. Or I'll back up, boom, and I'll come back with a left hand or a round kick or something. So those are different ways that I kind of lure guys in by turning my back. But you have to be good with your lead leg. If the only kick you throw, which most guys out there in the fight, they only throw the back leg. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, I gotta get most power. And if they do throw the front leg, they telegraph it. You know, which high-level guys are really good, like Jose Aldo, who is Sweet Tea. Another high-level guy, he's known as a vet. Just the high-level Muay Thai guy, not Jose Aldo, the other one. Bo Barboza. They have a very good like switch kick.
Yes.
But if you're not good or high level, that's a huge telegraph. The guys will go, and every time they do this, I know just to move out of the way or move in. Okay. So you have to be good or fast with the switch kick in order to get power of the front leg. You don't need crazy power out of your front leg. You can sit there and if you develop it, and it doesn't take long to do, just lift your leg up and snap the leg out and back. Your leg is so much stronger than your hands, it doesn't take much to put people to sleep. And if you're precise with it, Rose Namajunas, when she fought Wei Li, dude, she just boom, and out she went. But people think they have to wind up for everything. You don't.
Do you think it's because of Muay Thai? Because a lot of people train Muay Thai.
They do.
And right, like with Muay Thai, it's all like huge, big rotations. Do you think that's what's like causing a lot of fighters to want to like drive into every single kick?
I think so. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Muay Thai. I mean, there are some really high-level Muay Thai guys. I watched one championship, man. All those guys are Muay Thai stylists. You know, Haggerty, Liam Harrison, high-level Muay Thai. But you do get people. It's very popular in the MMA world because I feel like the basics are kind of easy to learn. It's faster learning. And I guess the higher level you go, it's kind of like karate, but people want to get to the big show quick. So they want to learn their stand-up as fast as possible. In Muay Thai, it's fairly easy to work the basics. With the more traditional styles like karate, kempo, taekwondo, you start with the little things and work your way up, so it takes longer to get there, you know? So people want to take the fast route. I want to learn Muay Thai so I can, you know, get out there and start scrapping, you know? So I grew up in doing karate, and we learned the basics, like the very small, like the distance management. We just did that for years, and it takes years to kind of learn that. Now, it's the same thing with Muay Thai. It takes years to be a high-level Muay Thai specialist, but for MMA, you don't have to be high-level Muay Thai to be able to compete in MMA, especially if you got a good ground game. Sure. So people, they have that Muay Thai style, but they didn't really focus a lot on the little tiny details when it comes to the striking game, like these high-level Muay Thai guys have done.
So then with MMA, you would say that the most important thing is not necessarily actually hitting your opponent hard, but just developing techniques to where you can touch the guy. Yeah. Like just touch him, just touch him. Whether it's not landing hard, it's okay, just touch the guy.
Now make sure to keep watching, because later in the video, he's going to rate my sidekick technique, and then he's gonna give me a master class on the right way to actually throw it.
So what striking style would, like if you had to build someone to counter what you do really, really, really well, what striking style would they have?
Oh man, it's kind of a loaded question because I'm a karate guy.
I know. You can combine, you can add different martial arts, but like what would you build them into? Like say boxing and Muay Thai, taekwondo, like what would you?
For me, it would be boxing.
A really good boxer.
A really good boxer, guys with crisp hands.
Okay.
Steve Ursig.
Okay.
Ursig, he's coming up, he's fighting, who is he fighting? Pantoja this coming weekend. If you watch him, his distance management is money. Like he's moving in and out. Anytime his guy's moving, he's angling off, he's moving. He doesn't just walk his guy down. He's very observant when it comes to the fight game. And he's got very crisp boxing, very crisp boxing. It's fun to watch. I don't like, you know, Neanderthals out there just throwing. I want to watch the guys that look good doing it. You know, that have a finesse to it. And he's got some finesse. He's just very crisp and just fun to watch. Like, ooh. So it would be kind of like that, almost like the earlier Conor McGregor days, where he kind of had the movement of a karate guy, but had hands like a boxer, just put people to sleep. They don't have to have the crazy kicks. It's just the movement was what I find fascinating. So it would be kind of like the traditional, maybe like a karate or taekwondo mixed with boxing. You know, because, you know, the majority of Muay Thai guys out there, the high level guys, fun to watch. Haggerty, amazing to watch. But the Muay Thai background MMA fighters, they don't have that finesse of those elites. And they kind of just sit down and just start throwing, and it's not fun to watch.
Flat-footed too. Yeah. Which is why TJ Dillashaw came in and like mopped the floor with Renan Barão. God bless his soul.
Also, I know he's a high-level wrestler, but Henry Cejudo.
Oh yeah.
In his career, he's very
suddenly adopted that
yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, his coach came in not too long ago. We chatted about it. He was like, yeah, he kind of adopted that karate style of movement. It really fit with his wrestling. So I think that would be the two.
So when it comes to base movement, you would say, get that karate base movement, and then good hands.
Good hands. You don't have to have the crazy kicks. Just
You
know.
think someone like that would give you issues?
I think so. I think somebody with that skill level and high level, I think it would be very difficult. Very
I think
difficult
Conor
to deal with.
McGregor, say the Conor McGregor that fought Eddie Alvarez.
It would almost have to force me to use my kicks.
Interesting.
It would force me to use a longer range weapon, because if I sit there with a high level boxer with good movement, my hands, I would be worried about that. He could use that to set me up. You know, make me swing and miss and try to counter me. So I would sit there and use my longer limbs, keep them away, and just try to pick them apart with my legs, or try to slow them down with leg kicks or things like that, which guys have tried to do with me, but you know, I would have to really watch out to just box with that guy.
Last question for you. Give me 2 fights. One, what is a fighter that while you were preparing for him, you were like, this is gonna be a little bit easy. I know they're all difficult, but this is gonna be a little bit easy, and then when you were in the fight, you were like, holy crap, this is way harder than I thought it was gonna be. That's one. And then give me someone you thought, this is gonna be really, really hard, and then while you were fighting him, you were like, this is kind of easy.
Okay, all right, well, coming up, obviously, you know every fight, and this is a mindset that I didn't allow myself to have leading up to any fights. Because I always knew if you're in the UFC, I don't care if you're at the bottom of the pole, at the top, everybody's dangerous. So I didn't, and I knew in kickboxing, I spent years competing in kickboxing, and there have been times where I thought this guy was going to be easy, and it messed with my mental state when I was out there, and the guy ended up becoming very difficult. I was like, dude, it's almost like beat you spiritually. So I didn't allow myself to have that leading up to a fight. But there have been fighters that I have faced where I'm scared. Scared.
There we go.
Okay. Johnny Hendricks was one of them, because he was putting people to sleep. Just one shot. You know, he had wrestling, which was always been my kryptonite, you know, and he had one hitter quitter power. He's putting people to sleep left and right. And I was like, and this was like my second main event. And if I beat him, I'd be fighting for the title. So there was a lot of pressure going into this. And I was scared, man. I was like,
You did not fight him scared.
no.
You pinned him against the cage and just teed off with him spinning him like.
Yeah, man. Well, I was supposed to fight Neil Magny.
Okay.
And I was preparing for a fight to fight him. He ended up getting injured, and I fought like several months later. I was already in great shape. But when I found out I was fighting Johnny Hendricks, like my work ethic and everything just went to another level. I wasn't the best. When I go into camp now, I try to get myself to where I was when I was fighting Johnny Hendricks. Like that's my goal. I was such in great shape. I wasn't walking around heavy. I was walking around like 182, which is very light for a welterweight. And but I was in great shape. And it was. I watched every one of his fights from the very beginning to the very end, and he just never changed. So I just knew exactly what he was going to do. It was almost, no disrespect, but it was almost easy. You know?
It looked easy.
Man, I just had his number. Now, I would say the most difficult fighter, just skill-wise, was, I would say, Rory McDonald.
McDonald.
McDonald was good everywhere. I mean, he had great striking. You know, he's got great wrestling. He out-wrestled and out-grappled Damian Maia. He beat him. He was very, very difficult. I was more mentally fatigued after that fight than I was physically fatigued.
Even more than you were when you fought Till?
Yes.
Your fight with Till was just a chess match
Yeah.
the whole entire time.
The thing was with him, I had been there before.
Okay.
Which he was my very first guy that really kind of tested my mental state because I had to be in tune with everything he did. And what's funny, I knew for some reason he was going to go for my legs, the what do you call those takedowns, sweetie? Imanari rolls, where you dive in.
Yes.
And I was like, for some reason, I just know he's gonna do this, just to try something different. I was right. I literally brought somebody in to help me prepare for this fight, just to work on the Imanari rolls and the heel hooks and things. So, and I was correct, thank goodness. But he tried 3 or 4 of them on me. Didn't end up work. It didn't work.
Yeah.
And we fought 5-minute rounds in it, pretty much in his backyard in Canada. It was awesome, man.
It was a good match. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
It's funny because some of my favorite fights aren't necessarily the ones that I won.
No?
No. For example, my second fight in the UFC, I fought Matt Brown. Hired a new strength and conditioning coach. I was walking around like 210. I was massive for a welterweight. And to cut down to that weight, it almost killed me. I was done 30 seconds into that fight. 30 seconds in, I was exhausted.
Seriously?
Already done, yep. I had weighing in, or trying to get the weight down, I passed out, and it was bad. And then, going through that adversity and having to go out there and fight a freaking zombie, pretty much, I mean, I knocked him out twice in that fight, and I hit him again and woke him back up. He didn't tell me that. He told me that in the ambulance when we went to the hospital together. But just knowing that situations where most people would give up or look for a way out, you know, everybody can say, oh, I can go out there and do that. I can take that. And Khabib is an example that he make people quit. People are looking for a way out. He ended up taking dudes down and just beat on them. You know, just give up. This is mine.
Yeah.
You know, he's sitting there talking trash. And the next thing you know, they're like, oh, let me turn my back. And they're like acting like they're defending the choke. And then they go out, you know? He'd make people not want to be there. Like the Tyron Woodley fight the first time, he knocks me down like 3 times. Boom! Down I go, get back up. Bam! Down again. Down again. Next thing I know, I'm in a deep guillotine, and that thing was tied out. I was like, I'm ready to go out. I'm just gonna go out. I'm not gonna tap. And and I said that, like in my head, I said that actually out loud. I was like, these people came to watch me fight, I'm not gonna tap. And right when I said that, I could feel his arms start to kind of get tired. And that's when I kind of pulled my head out and the whole place erupted. But those moments when people say that they will never give up until you're there, like until it flat, you know, it's different. And when most people would have, I didn't. I was like my favorite. It tells you something about yourself.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha.
That only being in that situation you can really be honest with yourself.
If you haven't seen that whole entire sequence, I will absolutely encourage you to go check it out. It was a beautiful display of heart and determination by Wonderboy. That said though, it's time to go learn how to actually throw a sidekick.
Okay.
Give me like a grade, A to F. Be honest, be brutally honest, okay? And then correct the technique.
You got it. You got it. All right, so you're gonna show me your sidekick. Oh. I give that a B plus.
Okay.
Let's go. Okay, number 1.
Okay.
You did it from like a dead still. Normally, you know, I figured you were like, give me a, you know, kind of flow into a little bit.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
I like the sideways stance. It makes that sidekick a lot easier to throw.
Okay.
Right. And the reason I like the sidekick is because anytime I pick my leg up, I pick it up like I'm going to throw a sidekick.
I see.
Even if I throw a round kick or a hook kick, I pick it up the exact same way so that when I lift my leg, you don't know what I'm going to throw. And the way you picked it up was very consistent.
Okay.
Okay. Second thing that I would want to fix. Number 1 is the angle of my foot. So what makes this kick so powerful is this right here.
The glute?
The glute.
Okay.
It's all glute, right? Going here. So if my toes are angled slightly up, that tells me that I'm not turning my body enough to be able to use the full the full muscle of my glute. So if my toes are up, it's more of this motion here. Turn just a little bit more. See how my toes are kind of angled down?
Okay.
That's as how I want to do it. And really focus on the heel.
I see.
I can hit you like that hard and it do damage because it's all bone.
Okay.
I don't care if you block it, right? And I do that a lot. I did that against Rory a lot. We played this game here where he would touch and I would just boom. It's not powerful, but it's enough to do damage over time.
I see.
And it's very quick. So I can sit there and just go boom, and it hurt, even though the bag doesn't move. The way you launched yourself forward. So when I looked at your Sidekick, you were doing 2 kicks actually.
Okay.
You were kicking, you're doing this motion here, and you were doing this kicking here. So it's like you're kicking at the same time. You're doing 2 side kicks.
Okay.
Most people, when they do their side kick, it's this. See how I fell back?
Yeah.
Most people do that. To make a side kick as most powerful as possible, you want your hip to be on this side of your heel. So you're leaning into the kick.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if you're big or small. If somebody's small, if you're leaning into it, can make that kick so much more powerful, as if you were a heavyweight.
Okay.
Okay? So that was money.
Okay.
Where you were kind of, see how I'm leaning in?
Okay.
When most people, they kick and they get their hip on this side of the kick and it pushes them. So all their energy is going this way.
Okay.
Right? Now, obviously, if I'm backing up, I'm going to push myself back because I'm already backing up. So the only thing that I would fix, 2 things.
Okay.
Next time, I want you to practice by just moving a little bit before you do it.
Okay.
Because when you did your side kick, watch my first movement.
Okay.
See that 1?
Okay.
So so you went 1, 2, instead of 1. Your back foot moved just a little bit before you launched yourself forward. Which to somebody who's doing this a lot, have you ever sparred before?
Yes.
You ever sparred anybody that's like, they know what you're gonna do before you even do it?
Yes.
It's because of those little telegraphs.
Okay.
But you can disguise that. If I stand still like you were, and you do this, I'm gonna be gone.
I see.
Or I'm gonna meet you in the middle.
I see. Okay.
But if you're doing this, they're not gonna see that little slide up as easy.
Okay.
So if you're sparring and you're doing that side kick, give yourself a little bounce, and then they won't see this as much.
Okay.
But if you're standing still and you do this, they'll read.
Okay. Okay.
That's it. So turning of the heel, boom. Turning of the heel, not up. I want it down, right? Boom.
Okay.
The leaning in was money, but just now do it with a little bit of a bounce, give a little bit of movement to it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
When I do my side kick, people will teach you differently. Some Taekwondo stylists, Joe Rogan, we've talked about this before actually. He's very good at chambering the leg up here.
Okay.
Right? I grew up with a lot of point fighters, guys who can close the gap very fast. My sister was one of them. Before I even got into kickboxing, she beat me up for years. And every time I chamber my leg up, she would lead in with her hip and jam my leg. I couldn't kick. So I was like, all right, how can I prevent her from doing that? So instead of going here, I went foot first. So at least she runs into my foot and I can shove myself away or I can push her away.
I see.
See what I mean?
Okay.
So for instance, it's like if I had a sword in my hand and I stuck it at you, could you come forward?
I could, but then it was stabbing.
Exactly. So, but if you came forward and then I tried to point it, there's a chance there that you can block it, that you're jamming it.
Yeah.
So I lift my leg up before I go. So I kind of, it takes some getting used to, especially with the movement, right?
It throws everything off.
But I'm telling you, you develop it, it will take you no time.
Okay.
Just get your bag and get like, arms distance, give yourself a little bit farther back. And all I do is I push off. See what I just did? Can I show you something?
Yes.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on, people. We go from that end to this end, and this is what we do. All the way down. See? And we'll do it after training. and we'll go. We'll put 5 minutes or however many minutes on the clock. We'll have to go left side 3 times, right side 3 times, left side 3 times. And what that does, it develops this quad here, this mechanism here, to really close the gap. I don't care if I'm here, I know I can still kick you and get there explosively. Or if we're here and I lift my leg and you decide to back up,
You can still
I can still chase you.
I see.
Right? Doesn't mean I have to kick. I might just, boom, I might put my foot down and come at you with my hands, but I can still, it makes this, boom, so much more explosive. And that will end, yeah. So check this out, try this. So I bounce, stop, lift the leg up, and push. And then once you get used to that, then I focus on lifting the leg up.
So you lift and then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's how you break it down. Boom.
Okay.
And then once you get good at that, then start finding the timing to launch. So when I go down, that's when I go. Watch. Down, go. Down, go. Yeah. And you get your bag, and you kind of do the same thing. Just touch it. You don't even have to hit it hard.
Okay.
So I'll just touch. You know, get the movement down first. See if you can get to the bag. And then once you get that down, then you can, boom, then you can really launch it in, right? And then what we'll do drills where we have a partner about this far apart, and I have to 1, 2, boom, and then kick, right? But he gets to pick what kick I do.
I see.
So he'll have a shield and like a paddle target. So he may say hook kick. He may say round kick. He may say side thrust kick. So I don't know until I get there. I get there and he's like, side kick, boom, I got a side kick. Okay. And he says round kick, oh, boom, then I got a round kick.
Okay.
So it helps you lift the leg, kind of the same, and that way your opponent has no idea what's coming.
Okay. Yeah. So you just correct. So you're saying, forget this chamber thing. Lift here.
Yes. Yes. Boom. Now try it on this one here. Whoa, look at that, dude. Like it's nothing. Yes. Now, when I do it, the second main focus is the rechamber of the leg.
So bringing it back.
Why?
Okay.
You throw the side kick, and if I don't chamber it up, you get caught. Second thing is I can kick again if I wanted to.
I see.
I don't have to put my foot down, which is what I see a lot of guys do, but I can go boom and rechamber. I could kick again.
Okay.
Right? If I hit you once, bang, boom, and then I throw something else. Right? And it's literally, I've never hit anybody as hard as I could and put them to sleep. It was always, literally just
Really?
out. It's not about what power you put behind it. It's that snap. Because you gotta remember, look at my arms compared to my legs.
Your legs are way
Just
bigger.
if you develop that snap, I don't care who you are, I put big dudes to sleep with head kicks, man. And it's just like, oh, that. Of course, that took years to develop, obviously, but.
Dude, watching you do it in person after seeing you do it years on TV, it's just wild. It's crazy how
quick that is.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Damn.
See, I'll touch down low, you know. I'll just boom, just touch, boom, boom. And anytime I do bag work, I'll do bag work as if I'm sparring.
Right.
Most guys are just like, all right, I'm just gonna hit the bag. It's not about just hitting the bag. It's using your imagination, visualizing my opponent. I know what they like to do, and then I'll do my techniques based off that. Sometimes I'll throw a side kick, right? Or I'll throw a punch, but in my head, they're throwing something, right? They're throwing a jab. I'm coming over top, boom, stepping back, boom, then throwing my round kick. And I'm playing this. You ever seen Baki?
Baki. The video game?
Baki Hanma, the anime?
Yeah.
Baki?
Yeah.
There's-
Jacked.
Yeah, dude. And there's a scene in there where Baki is fighting an invisible opponent, and he's breaking a sweat. He's like going to another level, right? It's important that you use your imagination when you fight. I'm not just here just to hit the bag. I'm visualizing my opponent. I'm visualizing the techniques they're throwing, and I'm whatever technique I see, I base my bag work off of that. So don't get in the mindset of just, all right, I'm just going out here and work the bag. There are times you can just focus on a technique, but if you're putting everything together, I'm visualizing my opponent.
Okay.
Even when I'm shadow boxing.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Your sidekick?
Okay.
You're solid, man. Let's go. How did you learn how to do the sidekick? Just by watching?
Well, I actually started off with Muay Thai.
Okay.
When I was a little bit younger.
Well, now even Muay Thai, they'll have side teeps as well.
Yes.
It's like it's more like with the ball of the foot though. But Haggerty, I've seen Haggerty do it. Dude, talk about high level. Liam Harrison,
Yeah.
bro, high level Muay Thai, bro.
I like the teeps. It's, you know, like you're here.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's one I want you to next time you spar.
Uh-oh.
It's not really a teep. It's a stabbing motion. We call it a 45 front. You heard it?
No.
So let's say you have your right foot in front, right? I can do this with my back leg or my front leg, but all I'm doing is this with the ball of my foot.
I see.
See how it goes right in between?
So it's almost like a round house, but you're just stabbing.
Yes, and it doesn't necessarily have to come all the way in from the side. It's more of like a 45. Literally that right there, I've dropped them. But you have to get used to getting those toes pulled back.
I see.
Anderson Silva, he would do it like this. He would make a fist out of his toes.
Is
right?
that how he does it?
Bro, I've seen him do that with his toes, like stabbing his toes. He'll like turn him like to do a spear and stab. I don't want to break my feet, so I pull my toes back.
Okay.
And even in sparring, I'll just go, just kind of boom, one of those, bam. Oh, just stop. And it just takes their breath away. So when you teep, hit them with one of those, and then they think you're gonna push, but it's a stab. It's a stabbing motion.
Is that similar to the way Conor McGregor does it?
Yep.
Like he's like.
Yeah. It's here.
Okay.
It's here. Because let me tell you, a good way to practice that is sitting back on your toes like this.
Okay.
And it will make them flexible and easier to pull back.
Okay. Yeah, you have really flexible toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you look at my toes, I've got this big gap here. I'm barefoot all the time, but I see how my toes kind of curl this way.
Yeah.
It's from doing this my whole life, pivoting. Just from pivoting, turning my feet so they kind of naturally just kind of go that way.
Wow.
I live in the gym, so I'm barefoot all the time.
That is fascinating.
I don't even like wearing shoes anymore because it hurts my feet. It kind of presses my feet together.
It's incredible how the human body will turn itself and shape itself into what you do with it all the time.
Yeah.
Like John Danaher. Have you noticed this?
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
that's crazy, man.
And it's just from like constantly. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So do that. Do that next time. Just boom, either front leg or even back. And I don't, if it's with my back leg, I don't really turn my body a whole lot because that's kind of a big tell. So I just kind of lift it and boom, snap. See, I don't boom. And if you touch, even if you don't hurt them to drop them, maybe they feel, oh man. So when I pick my leg up, they do this, and that's where, whoop, yeah. I love this game. You're welcome, my man.
And I got what I need, man.
Dude, are you kidding? Let's go, man.
Now, this experience was absolutely incredible, and I really don't think I'm going to meet another fighter in the future that's going to make me feel as welcomed as well as at home as Stephen Thompson did. The man is just nice, bro. There's just no other way to put it. Everybody knows it, but until you really hang out with this guy, you really don't understand how infectious his personality is. Just an incredible dude to be around, and an incredible teacher, and an even better martial artist. So really grateful that they allow me to come out to their gym and train a little bit, and I really look forward to doing this again. So major thanks to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, major thanks to his brother Tony for setting the whole thing up, and major thanks to Upstate Karate for hosting your boy. Really appreciate it, and hope you guys enjoy this experience as well.